like adding an image and then working on a simple calculator. Okay. So did we see adding of image? Yes or no?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So if you want to add an image onto your application, okay, so what you need to do is like you need to select from the palette there is an image view. Okay. So you just drag drop it. Okay. So once you drag drop it, it will give you some inbuilt images. Okay. So there are like icons, buttons, so many things will be there. Okay, so what you can do is if you want to have icons or something like that, what you can do is you can straight away include those image into your application. Okay, so it will be like loaded here. Okay, and then once you execute that one, as it is a okay, as it is a single image, I'm not doing constraint. See, sometimes if there are so many images and if you don't do the constraint operation, only few will be visible and few will not be visible. Okay, so that's the reason you have to make sure if more elements are there, you need to constrain it. Okay, in order to fix the location. Now also this image will come on the top left corner because I did it checked the constraint. In for constraint, that's why it can appear on top left corner. Okay, but that's okay. Okay, so meanwhile, let's say if you want to load your own image, right? So you doesn't want to include the image which is already available. So you want to include that image. So let me copy one image from my system. Uh, it's taking little time. Okay, so I'm copying that image. Okay, and okay, so that was the error. So what you need to do is just copy that image. Okay, and then you have to paste it in the drawable. Okay, so just click on right click. Okay, so as it is loading, so for the first time as I'm executing, so it will be little delayed. Okay, so just click on right click and then click paste. Okay. So when it asks like you can choose a drawable or drawable version 24, just click on that. So here try to give a numeric, try to give a character based names for the images. Okay, so let me give let's say vit.jpg. Okay, so I'm just renaming it. If you can see, we got the image vit.jpg under the drawable. Okay. So I have executed the program for the inbuilt image. See, whatever the image that we have selected from the assets that are available, so that now it is displayed here, right? So similarly, now what we want to do, we want to display the image that we have included in the drawable. Okay. So any applications or anything, whatever the view that is available in XML, it has a class in the Java code, right? So we have defined like for image view also there is a class image view. For text view, there is a class text view. Like that, you have different formats. Okay. So as I have to combine that XML view to this, so I have to use an image view. Let's say I'm using IMG. So now this image is equal to find view by ID r dot id dot img1. So let us that I gave to this. So it is just the ID is image view only. So that image view. Okay. So here you need to make an extra statement that img dot set resource. Okay. You have to set the image resource to the view in order to see that image. Okay. So the image source is present in where under resources, under drawable, you have this vit.jpg. So you just need to select r dot now drawable. So if it is a layout, it will be r dot layout activity file. And similarly, if it is like the drawable, r dot drawable dot. So if you check, you have this VIT, whatever the name that we gave, that VIT object reference is available. So now that VIT is now applied. Okay. So now even though we have given this image, so what you need to do is like just drag drop that image. So now you just select the avatar. So that would be like easy. Okay. So to this, now we are renaming it. So I'll just keep the same name as image view so that we have to refer with the originals. Okay. And then I'm just clicking on the infer constraint. Okay, so little big will make this one. So in order to resize, always use the resize handles, the corner images. I mean the corners of the image. Okay. Okay, so little big I made. Now let me reload the application. Okay, so it got loaded, and if you can see, the image has been displayed here. Okay, so here the width and height you can modify, if you can fix it, and all the things you can change. Later on, maybe like in the fourth module, we'll also see how to apply these images as our menus. Okay, so that thing also we'll be looking at. Okay. So is that clear how to add an image and then how to do it?
Ma'am, can you
Yes,
show the
ma'am.
code once more?
Yes, ma'am.
Code, ma'am. Main activity.java.
Okay. So this is how you need to set it. Okay, so that is how you set. So how many number of images are there? You can do that. Okay. So let's say now what I'll do is I'll try to add a button here. Okay. Let's say I'll name it as image 1. And there is one more button like image 2, for example. Okay. So these are the two buttons. When I click image 1 should be displayed. When I click image 2 should be displayed. And initially when we load the app, the image should not be displayed. Okay, so that is the logic that I want to do. So in the beginning, only the button should be displayed. Okay, and once you click image 1, it should display image 1. Once you click image 2, it should display image 2. So that is the logic I want to do. Okay, so in main activity, you also need buttons. Button B1 comma B2. So we have to find the, so just import that class. Okay, so for buttons, so find view by ID r dot id dot let me see what is the names of these buttons. So it is button and button 2. Okay, so you can rename them. So, but now I'm just using them like that only. Dot find view by dot id dot button. So, I have loaded these two. So initially, when I click b1 dot set on click listener, new on click listener. Okay, so for b1 I got this, and similarly b2 dot set on click listener. These are the two things that I have got now. Okay. Okay, so this thing we'll just leave. So let's say this is image one, and my image, what does this look like? Okay, so this is this another image, and this is the one image. So when I click button one, let's say VIT should be displayed. If I click button two, this second image should be displayed. Okay, so that is the logic that I want to do. And as I told in the beginning, it should not be like visible. The image should not be visible, right? So what I have to do is img dot. So initially I have acquired this. So set visibility. So there is a visibility which will say it should be invisible. Okay, so is that clear? I'm making this as invisible because only the button should be displayed in the beginning. Okay. And now, so whenever I click the button B1, what should I do? I need to set image dot set image resource. Okay. So what do I need to set? R dot drawable dot VIT. And I have to set this. So if B2 is pressed, in place of this VIT, what should be displayed? It should be displayed my image. Okay. So that is how we are just working on it. Okay, so now let me execute that. Okay, so probably in the beginning itself, as I am setting, probably it is not working. Let me just, the app is getting close. Was showing runtime exception. Let me stop and delete that app and do it again. Page program. I'm just removing that because sometimes when I try to reload it, it's just not working. Okay, so image is experiencing crashes. Let me check once. Okay. Image view button 2. Okay, let me try putting something by default and then we'll see works or not. Okay, let it be like by default, let the first image be there. Okay, so it is still crashing. Or else let me try to create a new program. Sometimes what happens is as I am overwriting the same program again and again, so I have shown similar thing. So I'm using the same program. So sometimes the memory gets overloaded and even the crash can happen. So let it's okay. Probably sometimes it's that way. I don't know why. Okay, so let me quickly put two buttons. Button one and button two, and I'll just drag drop image view. Okay, I'm just constraining the thing. So button two, and image view. So let me create button v1 comma v2, similarly image img. Okay, let's find the views. v1 is equal to find. Okay, so similarly, let us change the text here. This one. Okay, so now uh, dot id dot. So initially, let me try setting it img dot at image resource. So here what we need to do, we have to copy those two images into this. Okay, so let me go back. Uh, okay, let me see. I click, paste them. Okay. Okay, so usually sometimes, as I told, if you give numbers, this may give you an error. So right click and click on refactor, rename. Okay, so try to give something like img1, and similarly refactor, and click on rename, and let us put image 2. Okay, and this one is refactor, rename. Uh, okay, so I got the three images. So initially I'll be setting this image 1. So drawable dot mg1. So I'm checking it. Let us just work on it and see whether it is displaying it or not. Okay, so got display. Okay, so the initial image was displaying. The buttons were also there. So now let me set the click listeners for the button B1 dot and similarly B2. So here what I want to do is image dot set image resource dot id dot image dot drawable dot image 2. I'm just setting it, and similarly when we click on button 3 it should okay, so okay, so now it is loaded. Okay, when I click image 1, image 1 is displayed. When I click image 2, that is displayed. So whichever we are clicking, that image we are trying to display. Okay, so if you want to hide this, so whatever is visible, but if you don't want to see it, okay, so there is an option called set visibility as invisible. Okay, so if you set, let's say we have set the image 1, right, but if you don't want to see it, mg dot set visibility, you need to set invisible. Okay, so view dot invisible. So if you do that, what happens is even though the image is present, but you will not be able to see that. Okay, so okay, so see here the image is not visible, right? So then okay, so even when you click now, the image functionality is in invisible mode. So here what I'll set is I'll set visibility. Now whenever we click, so it will be visible. Okay. And similarly, even if you press this button B2, it will so in this case. Okay, so now when I click image 1, it is displaying, image 2, it is displaying. So you can have a button which is like clear, which you can set the image as invisible. So the view will not be visible. So same is the case with any view. You can just hide any view that you want to hide it from the user to see it. Okay, so that view we call it as like setting the view as invisible. Okay. So you can set the view invisible, any view, even buttons, you can set it as invisible. Okay. So that is how you do it.
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am, without giving set visibility also it is it's coming now, ma'am. Then what is the use of the giving set
I know
visibility?
initially if you set it invisible, then if you click on it, it won't work. It will not show.
Okay, ma'am. By setting set invisibility, it will work, ma'am.
Then only the view will be visible. Okay, so
Okay.
here I have set it invisible now. So if you try to just give set image resource, then it will not show if you click the button because it is in a invisible mode. So that's the reason you have to make it as visible again in order to see that. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So did we talk about the basic operations? Yes or no, ma? Simple reading two numbers, doing plus, minus, subtraction.
No, ma'am.
No,
We
ma'am.
didn't. Okay. Okay, then I'll tell you a simple example then. Okay, so I want to do a simple calculator. So in that case, I'll just drag drop this text view. Okay, so here we will be reading number 1. So instead of 1, I'll name it as number 1. and hint, refactor it, and hint I want to give it as enter number. Okay, so similarly, I'll try to read a, see, now here, if you see, this number is basically you need a number, right? But if you select a plain text, what happens is you will get A, B, C, D also in the keyboard. So if you don't want to get these, I mean, instead of all the A, B, C, D values, if you just want to have only numbers, then you can select directly the number option. Okay. So let it be like enter number, and let me name it as number 1. And okay, so now this is number 1. So similarly, I need to read a second number. Let it be number 2. Hint, I'll give it as okay. So now I'll try to add in buttons. So let's say 1. So this button name, let it be like add button, and the text is I want to have a plus option on it. Okay. And similarly, I'll take one more button. So here it is. This is option. Okay. Okay. So like that I'm doing, and similarly one more button. Let it be, and this is I'm naming it. Okay, so let's say 3 things I'm doing. Later on, you can work out. Okay. So this, if you want to reduce size, you can reduce it. Okay, so having equal sizes, you can just work on like with the same amount of this thing. Okay, this became very less. Okay, so checkout width is 64 dp. So for this also try to name it as. Okay, so changing there it would be little easy. Okay, so this one for this one height is at 41 and 64. So 41 and 64. So similarly this one. So if you want to use that way, that will be like more appropriate. Height is 41 dp. So all will be equal given the spaces. Okay. So let's say now I'm aligning them a little down. Okay. So once you have done this, so you also need one more text field for output, right? So output is also a number. So just drag and keep it one more number down. Okay, so just name it as result and give the hint also. It's a result. Is okay, so these are the things that we need. So all of these are in red color. So what you need to do, you have to establish the constraint by clicking on infer constraints. Okay, so what happened to this? So sometimes remove the constraints. Okay, so sometimes what happens is when there are more or different buttons which are not aligned properly, in that case, I think it got changed again. Let me set this. Observe the properties. Okay, so when we are using default constraints, so sometimes it will be changing. So first you can do another option. These three you want to be like together. So in that case, right click, you will have a chain option. Okay, so create a horizontal chain. So these will be like fixed here. Okay, so after that, just click on infer constraints. So then, but still, why is this coming this way? Always try to use like whenever you are creating new problem, try to create new project and do. Once you overload or rewrite, so some kind of difficulties happen like this sometimes. Okay, let me increase. Usually it just gets nicely, but then okay, I'll just remove this constraint alone. Okay. I don't know why this is changing frequently. Okay, so probably when we study through the layouts, it will be like much easier. Okay, so this one. It is okay. So once you apply the constants, try to change them. Then it should be okay. Okay, so six. Less. Okay. Only thing is ouch. I'll tell you later on like how to work with the linear layout, but why this is coming this stupidly? Okay. Uh. So try to create a new project that will be working fine. Only thing is, whenever we remove the earlier constraints and when we try to create some constraints, so the backup things will be there. So for the time being, let it be there. Okay. So try to create a new project, then it will be like working very nicely. Okay. Or else, let me wait. I'll put. Okay, let me control C and let me put one more button. Let it be like div. How many got copied? So this is, let's say, div, and I'm refactoring it and then let it be slash. Okay, now I'm doing the constraint. So now it's okay. So now in the main activity, so how many buttons we have? We have like we add action, B multiplication, button, division. Okay, so we have like 4 things available. So we don't need an image now. So just remove that. So this is B add. So this is like button. What did we give? Add. We gave add alone. And B sub. We gave S. And similarly for multiplication, B mul. Just give mul. It's div. Okay. So we have got 3 things. So we have acquired all these things. So and we also need to read the numbers, right? Number 1 and number 2 from these things. So if you want to read the numbers, so I need like 2 edit text. So those are like edit text, right? So N1, N2 I'm taking. So let me paste. This is N1 is equal to 1 and N2 is equal to number 2. And at the same time, you also need result, right? So RES is equal to find view by ID. And view by ID. Ma'am, class లో ఉన్నాను మీటింగ్ గుర్తుంది యా ఓకే so find view by id r dot id dot result, okay, because we need result to write the result into the box, okay. So for this we need another text view, so let's say result, okay. So now whenever add button is pressed, so b add dot set on click listener new on click list. When b add button is pressed, so here what we have to do when this button is pressed, you have to read the numbers from this one and this one. You have to add the result and keep it in the result text field, right? So here you need to get the value. So how do you get the value? So n1 dot. So by default, as I told, it's a get text dot to string. So it will be a string. So as it is a number that you need to do, so what you will do is you have to use integer. You need to convert it into integer dot parseInt. Okay, so then it becomes an integer. So I'll be assigning it into a number a. Okay, so similarly, I need to read a number from integer n2. So from the number 2, I'm reading and keeping it in b. I'm taking C is equal to A plus B. Okay, so once the result is done, this C needs to be written in the result text box. So result dot set text is a method which will text your data to that. Okay, so but set text will set only string. But here C is an integer. So what you need to do is you need to convert it into string. So string dot value of the C. So value of C will be converted into string and it is set to the resultant text. Okay, so the same is B subtraction. So B subtraction. So you'll be reading the numbers. Only thing the difference is minus will be here and the result will be the same. And similarly, B multiplication button, when you click it, so only thing the difference is A into B. So A into B, the result is stored there. So similarly, B div, so the result will be displayed there. Okay. So this is how you need to write the logics for your programs. Okay, so. Which one the name? Okay. So this is the pro. No, this is also not program. Okay, let me. Okay, so again the same issue came. I'll just remove and reinstall it. Install. Okay, I have uninstalled it and I'm trying to load it again. Okay, so probably as I have overwritten in the same program, it is giving me the crash. This is not the case earlier. This much crashes won't be there. Okay, so what you try to do is, you just create new project and then try to do it. So I don't know why it's just coming that way. Okay, just try it out and then do it. Okay, so because I think the problem is this. So try to create new projects for these things. So then it will work. So earlier, like for image, how this happened. So it's a similar way it's coming. So try to create in a new window. It will definitely work. Okay, so the operation is successful. Only thing is, okay, so this is the same program that I have earlier executed. Let me show that one. So I think there is a problem with that. Okay, so this is a centigrade. Did we talked on this? So this is also one more example which I want you to try. Okay, so just read a temperature, convert it to centigrade to Fahrenheit and Fahrenheit to centigrade. Yes, ma'am? Somebody was
Yes,
saying
ma'am,
something.
we'll try, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am?
We'll try,
Okay.
ma'am.
Yeah. So that's what. Just copy paste and try it. It should work. Okay. And I want you also to try this experiment. Like read the temperature and then convert it into centigrade to Fahrenheit. And if you click on this button, it should convert from Fahrenheit to centigrade. Okay. So this you just try it out. Okay. So this should work. You should just copy paste it and execute in a new window. That's it. Okay. So it will work. Only thing is, because if I start creating new project, it is taking too much time, but then I'll try to refresh everything. Then probably it should work. Okay. So, okay, then we'll catch up in the next class. So try to complete this simple calculator and then the temperature calculator programs for the next class. So we will start looking into like the bigger calculator, like if you click on calculator, so how that comes. So similar way, we will try to create one calculator program in the next class. So not these many, but the basic calculator we will have. So the temperature calculate, I mean, the basic in your phone, the basic model that comes, right? We will work on all that. Okay. So try to complete these two tasks and we'll look in the next class. Okay. Okay then. I'm just copy pasting the logic in the window. Okay. So it's the same logic. I don't think you have to change anything. It will be working. Okay. So we'll catch up in the next class then. Bye bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.